Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I'm Donna, and today I am here with Miss Lockwood Barr. How are you doing?
I am wonderful, thanks. How are you?
I am doing awesome. How's the weather in Nashville?
Well, I mean, as you can see, wonderful. I'm sitting outside and I'm thrilled that it is the perfect spring day. It's been the perfect spring week. Like very pleasant, lots of sunshine, not too hot. Loving it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Meanwhile, in Florida, it's a little too hot. We could use a little less humidity and heat and maybe a little more of that spring theory. That would be awesome. Oh,
Well, at least
So
in
we'd
Florida,
love
you
to-
can jump in the ocean. So there's that.
right?
Well, I guess in
Okay.
Tennessee, we can jump into the waterfalls. So, we all find ways to manage through the heat.
Exactly. Air conditioning, pools, oceans, lakes, rivers. Although I
All
went
that.
through lakes and rivers in Florida because gators, that just, no.
True. Yeah, maybe stick to the oceans. Yep.
I'll take my chances with sharks. Oh, so we'd love to start these interviews with the most difficult question.
Great.
Who is Lockwood Barr?
Lockwood Barr is a bluesy country artist with a touch of twang who loves the banjo. Lockwood Barr is interested in human nature, and that is what drives her to write music. And Lockwood Barr is also just like a total goof who loves self-deprecating humor. And I identify strongly with Phoebe from Friends.
I love it. That is great. So you write some of those crazy songs like she used to write too?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I was actually talking to some friends and I feel like I should do like a series of TikToks or something that are like plays on the Phoebe songs from the series. So we'll see. That might be in the future.
That would be pretty funny. I love it. I love it. Make sure you tag us so that way I can be sure to share it out to everyone too.
Absolutely. Definitely will do.
Oh, so now I know you come from a musical family. So tell us, how did you get started in music?
I got started in music. I mean, like you said, like coming from a musical family, I was just around it all the time. It was omnipresent in the house. And so my earliest childhood memories are, my mom couldn't always get a babysitter, so she'd bring my sister and I to church choir practice with her. So and so then we joined church choir and Christmas pageants and piano lessons. And, my dad plays the banjo, my mom and guitar, my mom plays guitar and piano. So, I mean, it was just, I think it would have been more surprising if I didn't turn out musical just from like the nurture side of it. But yeah, and then I think career-wise, it started in high school because I think, I was sort of that typical raging hormone teenager who needed a way to express herself and started doing that through music. And then I had a really great high school music teacher who really taught me sort of the commercial side of the business and started getting me more experience, like playing shows featuring my original music. And so his name was Mr. Matter, and I get to see him in a couple weeks. I'm going to go do a show back at my old high school and talk to the kids about what it is to work in music and make a living and all of that. And so I think between, and I had really amazing music educators, my choir director, Jan Peterson Schiff, my piano teacher. I mean, so I think the whole smattering, it just sort of, there was never anything else I was going to do with my life, to be totally honest.
Well, that's great though. I love that you're also going back to your high school and going to talk to them about what it's like, because, I think that, that whole, if you can see her, you can be her theory. I think that is so true. And, you know, what better way than to give back as well?
Absolutely.
Cool. So who are some of the women that have inspired you in music?
Oh my goodness. So many on just a huge like celebrity level. My parents did a really great job raising me on like, I don't know if I guess this isn't a bad word, but badass women. I mean, really
Yes.
badass women. So I mean, I grew up on everyone from Bonnie Raitt to Sheryl Crow to Dolly Parton to Martina McBride, to Alison Krauss, just, you know, all across the board. Definitely had some theater influences in there. Love Bernadette Peters and Bette Midler as well. You know, and then I think recently in town, I'm also seeing some of the women that I've gotten to start writing music with and spending more time with. You know, I know we were talking about this before the podcast started, how much I adore Shelley Tackett. I sort of like imprinted on her like a baby duck when COVID hit. And was just so amazed at how calm and stable she was and how she was like, let's just be solutions oriented. We're independent artists. And Shelley had this brainchild of planning these drive-in shows so that people could be COVID safe, but still hear live music and stuff like that. And, you know, that was really, really amazing. And then my friend Carlene Watt, who's she's not an artist, but she's just a co-writer. And we joke that, you know, in Hollywood, there's the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. In Nashville, there's the 2 degrees of Carlene Watt. And I've just had the privilege of, you know, we joke that we met in another lifetime. And so really when we met in Nashville, it was like, oh, good to see you again. Like we've just, you know, it's a really deep friendship there. But she's one of those people that when I talk about like, you never want to be the smartest person in the room. Like I'm referring to Carlene because I just think she's so brilliant. So I love our friendship, but I always feel like I also learn from her when we write. So, I mean, I've had some really amazing women examples, from co-writers up to stadium selling artists. It's been really, I feel really lucky. I've had some women laying out some great paths for me.
Absolutely. Those are all amazing women, all of them. I couldn't, you know, guess any better or say those were who you were saying about the women that inspired you. I wouldn't be able to even guess. Obviously, Dolly, I go for Dolly with everyone, but you know,
right.
There's such a range.
And I know I've left people out. I'm sure I've left people out.
Don't we?
It's like the Oscar speeches, like for everyone I forgot, I love you.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's what I should start asking everyone, you know. Okay, so if you're giving a speech, who did you forget? There's a good thought. So you'll never forget them now during your speech when you have to give one, right?
Yep.
Well, so I'd like to talk about some of your older music, and not that much older, about a year old and stuff. I was listening to Adderall and Alcohol.
Yeah.
So I can presume what inspired it, but tell us a little bit about that song, like the theory behind it.
What's funny is I feel like a fraud because I've never actually taken Adderall, but I've definitely played around. I do love my bourbon. I, you know, being a Tennessee girl, I like Delta 8. And, you know, but what inspired it, I think, was we were able to turn it into a happier song, my co-writers and I, 2 more fabulous women, Gabby Patrice and Kristen Merlin, who I wrote it with. So we turned it into a happier tune, but it all started because we were having a girls' night, enjoying some wine, and we were just kind of talking about how artists are so susceptible to sort of bad habits and bad influences and how they can kind of come to take over us. And it's like, you really, I mean, yes, I love my bourbon and my Delta 8, but I drink less than I did in college because I know that I value my voice, you know, I value my voice too much in my body. Like I have to stay physically healthy to be an artist. But there's so much, you know, the entertainment industry is crazy. We have crazy hours. And then we started comparing stories too about exes and people we've dated and sort of started having fun with these themes of bad habits and where we find bad habits in life and how regardless of what the bad habit is, we're human, right? Like we're subject to temptation. And so we just wanted to find the humanity in that and the grace and kind of make it, like I said, you know, give it a fun spin. It's not a heavy tune at all. It's really meant to be goofy, a little bit and lighthearted. But yeah, I mean, we were talking about it and we were like, it's like Adderall and alcohol and all the things, we know we shouldn't do it all. And then we all look at each other and we're like, that was a lyric. Someone grabbed the guitar. Like we didn't even think we were going to write that night. But I think we were also having fun with it because, you know, I think on country radio sometimes, and I think this is starting to change because I think women are pushing back and I think the audiences are responding to it. But you know, historically, it has really been the men that are singing about beer and like going out and partying. And it's like, well, you know, let's put a female voice in there too. You know, we can have a good time and do things, you know, let's talk about women having a good time or women joking about their own bad habits. I mean, you know, again, let's humanize it all and be lighthearted about it. So kind of pushing our way sort of into that subject matter as far as the songwriting world goes. And yeah, so we had a blast writing it. I mean, it did not feel like work at all.
And I love that you just spontaneously decided to write it because, you know, sometimes that comes out the most creative and best songs. It really does. And, you know,
absolutely.
You hit the nail on the head with radio and stuff like that. I mean, look how many songs were banned by women, especially like Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, and look at their writing, like this, like The Pill. Like that was such a controversial song.
I was literally just gonna say Loretta wrote The Pill. I was literally just gonna go, that's so funny. Yeah, and I think that there is room for gutsy women, but we also have to like stand up for ourselves. You know what I mean? Like it's yeah, like yeah, we've had some yeah, we have to push back sometimes against, you know, like Tomato Gate when that happened a couple of years ago with women on country radio. Like, of course there are challenges, but I think some of it is it's almost helpful to like ignorance is bliss, you know, where it's like, well, let's just, who cares what people are saying about it? Let's write what we want to write, what our human experiences are, what we think will connect with our audiences. And, you know, you never know how a song's gonna sit with people, right? You know, you can think it's the greatest song in the world and then no one likes it or think it's kind of nothing and then people connect to it. Like you just never know, but it was, clearly we'd written something, not to say that Adderall and alcohol is as groundbreaking as something like The Pill, but we had fun with it. And I think that's what people connected with. And it was the middle of COVID. And so I started playing it on live streams. And that's where I was like, oh, wait a minute, I need to record this. This is getting requested. Like, wait a minute. So anyways, it's been an interesting journey with the song, but lots of fun.
Absolutely. And I think you made a great statement there where you said about the salad gate, if you will, and tomato gate, whatever you want to call it. I always joke and say, you know what, I will agree with them. You know, men are the lettuce. We don't eat salads for the lettuce. We eat salads for the cheese, the croutons, the salmon, the whatever else we put on it. So you're right. Men are the lettuce. We have to eat that to get to the good stuff. It's boring.
And women have interesting stories to tell, y'all. Let me tell you something. We have some interesting stories.
And as women, I think sometimes we can say them and men cannot because it really comes off in a different light. It does.
Absolutely.
Oh. So would you like to get into our 20 crazy questions?
Hit me up. I'm ready.
Wonderful. What is the current song that you rock out to or relax to, or, you know, just that one song that makes your day? And that could change tomorrow, but what is it today?
Oh gosh. Okay. I had my Spotify on a random shuffle and I did 90s country because classic, but it does a good job of pulling in other stuff. And it pulled in the Bare Naked Ladies, Odds Are. It's the song Odds Are. Odds are we gonna be all right. Odds are we gonna be all right. You know, and it's just this like catchy, upbeat, like I understand why Spotify's algorithm put it in there when I clicked 90s country. So Bare Naked Ladies is not country, but it's such a happy song and it's so well written and has such a good beat that I've been jogging to it. And yeah, just had it on repeat. Like I'll be like folding my laundry, like, that's how we gonna be all right. That's how we gonna be, I mean, and then I'll go for a jog. So that's my current right there.
Oh, that's a great song. And if y'all haven't heard that after the interview, you can go check it out. Tell us, what was the last thing you read?
Well, I'm currently in the middle of a book called The Lost Apothecary, which is about a really cool woman who was making secret potions in the 1800s in London. Super juicy, all about girl power. Go read it.
You now have your book recommendation for the month or week or whatever here, everyone. Tell us the top 2 concerts you've ever been to.
Oh my gosh. Both are the Ryman. The first was the Avett Brothers, but it was their opener, Grace Potter. So Grace Potter was opening for the Avett Brothers. And so even though I'd gotten tickets for Avett Brothers, that was my intro to Grace Potter. And that was like, she is a goddess. Like she comes on stage and is a force of nature. Like the songs are great, but also just her as a performer. I mean, just the whole thing was unreal. It was just insane. And then the other one was also at the Ryman, and that was Nickel Creek. And I surprised my dad is, the banjo player, is a huge bluegrass fan, and he raised my sister and I on Nickel Creek. And so I got tickets to the Ryman for the whole family. And was like, y'all come out to Nashville, we're going to Nickel Creek. And it was, Nickel Creek is as amazing live as you would expect, but it was also really a sweet time with my family, and I've never seen my dad so happy, and it was just a really cool night all around.
That sounds really awesome. You're such a good daughter. Oh, what job would you be terrible at doing?
Anything where I'd have to like yell at people. I'm non-confrontational. So like if I have to, to be frank, I worked in retail when I was first out of school and like getting gigs around town, and I would cry if a customer was mean to me. Like I just like could not handle it. Like one time a woman tried to get me fired because we didn't have her size, and I took it so personally, and my manager was like laughing at me and was like, Lockwood, like get over yourself, toughen up. So I can't take it, but nor would I want to dish it. I don't know. I can't be the bad cop. So I hate being a bearer of bad news. So anything where that would be involved, count me out.
All right. We'll figure out the exact title later. I'll hit you up and I'll be like, hey, you can't do this job either. Oh, what's the first thing you would do if you won the lottery?
I would, well, I know it comes in installments. So grown-up responsible me would invest in something. But child immature me would buy a giant house in Lake Tahoe. And then actually once I bought the house in Lake Tahoe, I'd still be mature. And then I'd go donate the money to keep Tahoe blue.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Tahoe is so beautiful, is it? I've only been there once, but oh my God.
Favorite place.
Okay. Maybe we should have a concert there.
Oh, planning on it. Totally.
Okay. We'll have to coordinate that. Give you my number after this.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have a game plan for zombie apocalypse?
No, I'm pretty sure I would be the first one to die. No idea. I do like camping, and I'm pretty good at foraging for stuff. And, I've read some survival books, but I'm fairly certain I would be one of the first to die.
Don't worry. I have friends that have a plan. We'll come get you.
Great. Okay, cool. Call me. Good to know.
Will do. Yeah. I don't really have a plan either. I'm whatever happens.
Yeah. Some people do. Good for them.
Yes. And they have like family that are preppers or friends or relatives or whoever. And it's like, wow, that is awesome. I have no clue. I'm like, my prepping is, we have hurricane season. I make sure I have enough water and food. That's it. just to get
Yeah,
by
there
the
it
few
is.
days without electricity or whatever, you know? So, so tell us, what albums or artists should we listen to before we die?
I think one of the greatest country records ever written that really, it's not that it flew under the radar. It did do well, but then I'm surprised more didn't happen. But Hunter Hayes' first album with Storm Warning on it, that whole record, every single song on there is just written to a T, and it's so well produced, it's so well curated, just the order of the song, like talk about like putting on a record from start to finish. And it came out at a point where, you know, it's probably been a decade, but like records were already on the decline, you know what I mean? Like, so it was kind of a bold move for him as like a new artist to do a full record. And oh my God, so good. Historically, I'm always gonna say like the Beatles, anything the Beatles did, like, because they, you know, that was an era of true albums. Ticket to Ride, any of those. I mean, the White Album, all, you know, any Beatles album all the way through, start to finish.
Absolutely. I would totally agree with you on those. Who would play you in a movie about your life?
Ooh. Lisa Kudrow.
I could totally see that.
Or Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek. One of those two.
Ooh. Definitely good choices. Love them both. Boots or heels?
Boots. Hello.
You're like, who wears heels, right?
Boots are more comfortable.
So, where's Waldo?
Hawaii. Maui, to be
Take us
specific.
next time. Next time he needs to take us.
He really should. So selfish that he didn't this time.
Yeah, we'll blend in and wear the white and red so no one can identify him. So, hypothetically, if I came to you and said, I need to hide a dead body, do you know a good place?
Yes. I don't want to say where it is, but you know, actually, never mind. Everyone knows where it is now. It's Lake Mead. Have you heard the news stories like that Lake Mead is at like dangerously low levels and they're finding all these bodies from like 100 years ago?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, okay. And obviously even ones from like 40 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever it was, I was like, oh wow.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I can understand if it was where the dam was being built, we would get that. We would understand that. But where they're finding them, I'm like, oh, this is kind of, you know, I want to hear the stories behind these now.
Yep.
You know. Although I think Lake Tahoe might be better. I heard that's where the mafia used to.
There's a bunch of mafia. I've heard there's mafia in the lake. Dead bodies floating around there. Cash.
Yeah, see, that'll work too. What's the best thing since sliced bread?
Sliced pizza.
What's the worst pizza topping?
Pineapple.
Oh, you're a pineapple hater. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't get it.
That's been the big topic. It's either pineapple or anchovies. And I'm really been honing in on the pineapple because it really is a love or hate. And it's like there's no in between. Some people are like, yeah, okay, I can deal with it or not. But it really becomes, it's like is it texture or is it just taste or just fruit on pieces?
I think it's both. It just doesn't, and I think the chunks are always too big, like the way it's sliced up. Maybe if it were thinner sliced, you know, because it's like I've had lemon zest on sushi and that's awesome. Like, and it's a nice little crunch, but the pineapples are always these weird chunks where it's like you're eating pizza, but then you're eating also a fruit salad. I don't get it.
Yeah. Interesting concept, isn't it? So tell us, guilty pleasure music. What is it? What is yours?
90s boy bands. And or also Spice Girls. So like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, OG Britney Spears, 90s pop.
Nice. I love it. At what age do you feel like you became an adult?
Oh, that hasn't happened yet. What are you kidding?
No,
somewhere in the
you
future.
don't have to grow up. It's okay.
No, and it's
We have to
overrated.
age, but we never have to grow up.
Absolutely not. I'm morally opposed to it.
I'm joining that club as well. Tell us something on your bucket list.
Windsurfing on the ocean.
Nice. If you could be,
I've heard it
any
feels like
person-
flying. Sorry, what?
No, that's okay. That's great. So it feels like flying, windsurfing on the ocean. I love that. So, what about now? When we went through the Columbia River Gorge, there were tons of windsurfers because of the winds are so strong through there. Huh? Maybe there?
I'm open.
Okay, great. We'll just plan the trip and do it. Well, if you could be any person or any position, like CEO, accountant, president, who or what position would you want to be and why?
Gosh, definitely not president. I don't wish political turmoil on anyone. I can't imagine. I would probably be my older sister. She's a senior director for Sunrun, and they are a clean energy company. And she's my hero, and saving the planet, but also like creating new jobs and all sorts of exciting stuff. Like, so I'm over here just in the corner rhyming, and she's like, I figured out how to boost the economy and save Mother Earth. I'm like, great, whatever. So probably that. So
That's
go
awesome.
shout out Nora Hennings. You're my hero.
Aw, that was so sweet. Tell us something that you wish magically cleaned itself. The laundry, the dishes, the bathroom, the whole house, whatever, car.
Okay, laundry, definitely laundry. But then like, just because apparently I'm on an environmental kick right now, the ocean.
Ah,
I took that to
is a
another
great
level.
answer.
I got like super existential with this one. But yeah, but like on a household level, oof, laundry. I can handle the dishes. I like vacuuming. I think that stuff is kind of satisfying. But laundry, absolutely not.
I like the ocean. That made,
Yeah, if the ocean could clean
that
itself,
made the
that'd be
question. I
fabulous.
don't know if anyone else is going to come up with something that prolific in the rest of this year, but that was awesome. Would you rather cook or order in?
Cook.
Anything special?
I mean, I've been trying to learn to cook the past couple of years. So my next goal on the list is to do more air fryer stuff. So
okay, well, I got to ask you one question with that air fryer. If you learn how to do cinnamon rolls in there, I followed the directions. I put them in and then I burned them. I'm like, how did it burn? I did the time, I did everything, like everyone's instructions on every other post I've seen, and it burned them.
Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. I have yet to really get into that.
Oh. So is there anything else that cooking?
Trying to think. I'm not great at cooking steak. I mean, I know you can broil it or grill it, but for some reason it's still like, I'll do it occasionally, but cooking red meat is still intimidating for some reason. So hopefully I'll get better at that.
Well, if you need a taste tester, you will have my number.
Awesome. Good to know. Excellent.
Do you live by any words of wisdom? If so, what are they?
Yes. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Those are great words.
So know what you believe in. Stay true to that.
Wonderful. So now, what do you have coming up for the rest of 2022? And here's some big things, people. Pay attention. There's a band coming. Or
Oh,
trio, sorry,
yeah.
trio.
Oh, I started a new band. Well, we started it together, each of us. There's 3 of us. We are called Sequoia South. And actually, if you go to my Instagram at Music by Lockwood, or my Facebook, facebook.com/Music by Lockwood, I've tagged all of our stuff on there. Like there's a link to it in my profile. But we are a rootsy country, very heavily harmony focused group. Like we joke that our harmonies are our 4th member of the band. And we're starting to book tour dates. We already have a couple this summer throughout Tennessee. We're going to be playing like Cross Bowl, then up through Bowling Green. We've got a St. Louis show we just booked, and then we're going to play outside of, I think it's St. Charles, Minnesota. So I'm so excited about it. I don't think I've ever been this excited about a project, to be totally honest. We've been writing a ton together. Yeah, it's awesome. And we wrote, so I'm repping today, if there's any Yellowstone fans out there, I have a Beth Dutton quote for you. I don't speak dipshit. I mean, it's a little crass, but thank you, Beth Dutton. But we wrote a song called Train Station for Yellowstone. And if you DM us the word train on our Instagram, you get a free download of our live demo of it. So go hit us up on Instagram. It's Sequoia, like the tree. So SEQUOIA and then South. So it's sequoia.south on Instagram. And yeah, that's really what we're like building up to. I'm just so pumped.
That's so exciting. And I am so excited that you wore a Beth Dutton shirt because, I'll tell you, if I could be like a combination of 2 people in the world, it would probably be Di Barton and Beth Dutton because,
there you go.
Between the 2 of them, I mean, yeah.
It's a good combo.
Yeah, definitely. So everyone go check all that out and be sure to stop back here when we have some new music coming out. And thank you all for joining us. But most importantly, thank you, Lockwood, for joining me today. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and chatting with you. You're welcome back anytime. I can bring the trio back.
Hell yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'll send you, and like I said, I'll send you some videos that we have. Give you a little sneak peek.
Y'all are getting some sneak peeks coming up. Hope y'all are excited. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. Take care. If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.